Yada, yada. Y'all can jump on that if you want. Yada, 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 yada. Yada, yada, yada. There's fire on the mountain. Get ready. Yeah, there's fire on the mountain. Oh, I can feel it. There's fire on the mountain. Yada dies. Yada, 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 yada. Hey, yada, 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 yada. One more, yada dies. Yada, 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 yada. Yada, 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 yada. Yeah, there's fire on the mountain. Oh, y'all look great out there. Yeah, there's fire on the mountain. Oh, let's do two more of those. Yeah, there's fire on the mountain. Last one. Yeah, there's fire on the mountain. I can hear y'all out there. You sound so amazing. By the way, they just did that like they wrote that song. I'm totally going to approach that differently every time I do it now. Thank y'all so much. Stay up here. You want to do that Ma Tovu? How good? All right. We're going to do this Ma Tovu, and we're going to say, how good, how good, how good, how good. Lord, I love the house where you dwell. But you can say God. You can say Adonai. You can say whatever feels good to you, right? It's your day individually and ours collectively. So we're going to do this. How good, how good, how good, how good. Yeah, Lord, I love the house where you dwell. How good, how good, how good, how good. Yeah, Lord, I love the house where you dwell. All right. Well, Ma Tovu, oh, halecha, Yaakov, Mishkenotecha, Yisrael, oh, Ma Tovu, oh, halecha, Yaakov, Mishkenotecha, Yisrael, and how good, how good, how good, how good. Yeah, Lord, I love the house where you dwell. How good, how good, how good, how good. Yeah, Lord, I love the house where you dwell. Oh, a little breakdown. Ma Tovu Ocha Lecha Yaakov Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma Tovu Ocha Lecha Yaakov Mishkenotecha Yisrael. How good, how good, how good, how good, how good. Yeah, Lord, I love the house where you dwell. How good, how good, how good, how good. Yeah, Lord, I love the house where you dwell. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Shir Chadash is going to join us again a little later on. Keep on going. I'm looking over here at the team for clues. We'll just keep going. All right, good. We're going to welcome in the angels now with the Shalom Aleichem. And this Shalom Aleichem part is going to go round and around again a few times. I mentioned earlier about the things that you're going to hear, right? Like whatever feels good to you. You're going to hear a lot of new things tonight. But my hope is that none of these things collide with sacred memory, but that maybe we find a little new kavanah together tonight as we do this. And I mentioned to the clergy team, but I'll mention it to you as well. I really appreciate the trust. Thank you so much for that. And speaking of trust, I trust myself to be a professional and do this the right way.
We can find Shalom Aleichem on page 16 of our prayer books.
So that Shalom Aleichem part sounds like this. If you want to jump in on it, I'm going to do it twice through. Shalom Aleichem. Kind of a lonely wandering through the desert. Shalom Aleichem. You can try that if you want. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem Shalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. Go keep shaking a little bit of dust. Baruch le shalom, malachei shalom, malachei elyon, mi melech, malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Setzchem shalom, malachei shalom, malachei elyon. Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. One more time. Shalom Aleichem. Shabbos. We're going to welcome in the Shabbos bride with Lecha Dodi. And there's something really interesting in a lot of communities around the world when they get to Lecha Dodi. On the last verse, we're going to, by the way, do the first verse and the last verse, but the Lecha Dodi section is going to roll around again. We'll keep building it up. But a lot of communities, when they stand and face the doors of the sanctuary, they would open those doors, and in those communities on the first week of Shiva, sometimes there are mourners outside the doors to the sanctuary. And just as we welcome in the Shabbos bride, we also welcome in those mourners. It's kind of a beautiful, really beautiful moment. So our Lecha Dodi, it goes like this.
Page 38.
Thank you so much. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, likabela, just like that. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat Kavela. Two more. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat Kavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat Kavela. Shamor. Shamor v'zachor beriburecha, Hishmeanu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, Shem multiferet b'li tekilah. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat Kavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat Kavela. You can rise either in body or in spirit to face the doors to the sanctuary as we welcome in the Shabbos bride. Bohi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, Gam v'simcha u'v'tzo'ala, Toch emunei am segula. Bohi chala, bohi chala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat Kavela. Two more like that. Lecha dodi likrat kala. Y'all sound so good. Panei Shabbat Kavela. One more. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat Kavela. Please remain standing for our Baruch Hu.
Page 50.
I love a microphone that turns around. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam, Leolam Va'ed. I will praise you, I will praise you, and I will praise you, Holy One Most High, Holy One Most High. Yeah, and I will praise you, and I will praise you, Adonai, Adonai. Yeah, and I will praise you, and I will praise you, Holy One Most High, Holy One Most High. Yeah, and I will praise you, and I will praise you, Adonai, Adonai. I will praise you, and I will praise you, Holy One Most High. Yeah, and I will praise you, I will praise you, Adonai.
We turn now to page 51, and we invite up Marissa and Michael to lead us in responsive reading, page 51.
Thank you. Praised are you, Lord our God, ruler of the universe, whose word brings on the dusk of evening. The stars above follow their appointed rounds in response to your divine will. You remove the day and bring on the night. You separate one from the other. May you rule over us as you rule over nature. Praised are you, O Lord, who brings the evening dusk.
By the way, Siddur Chadash was the Siddur that I had when I was going through my... Oh! We're just sitting here hanging out, all super casual. You know, y'all, let me tell you a story about my aunt. When I converted 9 years ago, I'm 9 years old this year, by the way. I look real tall for my age, and my beard came in super early. That was my Siddur. It was a small conservative congregation in Houston, Texas. Real tiny on one side of town, very, very small, like 120 member families. And Siddur Chadash was how I learned to engage with prayer through the, of course, help of the rabbi and the congregation. But I could always find beautiful meaning in there. I love that Siddur, and I got so excited when I heard it was here. I was like, yay, it's like an old friend. I love it too much. All right. Might I read that again? Yeah. Little call and repeat here. Blessed is the one. Who turns the daylight into night, daylight and beautiful. Who whispers the evening, sets the stars alight, Adonai, Adonai, Sevaot is your name, Sevaot is your name, eternal, ever living, eternal. And may you always reign. Baruch atah, Baruch atah, Adonai, Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim, Hama'ariv Aravim. Amen. We'll do that, amen, together. Baruch atah, Baruch atah, Adonai, Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim, Hama'ariv Aravim. Amen. Beautiful. Bring on the night. Let the stars out to remind us of the light. Bring on the night. Let the stars out to remind us of the light. Baruch atah, Baruch atah, Adonai, Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim, Hama'ariv Aravim. Amen. One more amen. Let the stars out to remind us of the light. Bring on the night. Let the stars out to remind us of the light. Eternal God, you send love down. We do our best to give it around. I don't know how you do it, but you make it seem like there ain't nothing to it. When we lie down, when we rise up, we remember those words to fill our cup. Before the length of our days, your love remains a shining example, an eternal flame. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta en Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu l'madita. I said every little thing I got, I owe to you. Adonai Eloheinu. You can try that if you like. Every little thing I got, I owe to you. Adonai Eloheinu. One more. Every little thing I got, I owe to you. Adonai Eloheinu, 'cause loving is what I got. Said, remember that? Just put a date on myself, didn't I? Loving is what I got. I said, loving is what I got. Remember that? Yeah, loving what I got. 'Cause how sweet it is to be loved by you. And now our Shema.
Page 54.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאור על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Continue the Shema personally on page 56. And we join together in English, reading together, middle of page 57. Therefore, keep these words of mine in your heart and in your soul. Bind them as a sign upon your arm, and let them be a reminder above your eyes. Teach them to your children, speaking of them when you are at home and when you are away, when you lie down at night and when you rise up in the morning. Write them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. Thus your days and the days of your children will be multiplied on the land which the Lord promised to your ancestors for as long as the heavens remain over the earth. Page 58, last part of the Shema.
ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Well, we just had Passover. It always feels like we just had Passover, kind of in a way, right? It's so funny. I have to be so careful. Sometimes I'll say things and I'll go, the high holy days are coming up, and I'll see some folks in the clergy go, oh, it's coming. That's right. Time to get ready. But we just had Passover, and I want to talk about freedom for just 1 second, but specifically something in that story. When the Israelites crossed the sea, it said that there were two kinds of people. There were people that looked up, and there were people that looked down. And the people that looked up knew they were part of something amazing. They were free. We're not 100% sure where we're going to wind up, but we're free, and we have an opportunity at life. We're no longer slaves in Egypt, and we're being led to this beautiful freedom, wherever that happens to take us. It's a hard road, but we're going to get there. And they walked on dry land. And then the other folks, all they thought about was everything that was going wrong. Really satisfied with discontent, right? Oh, this pack is so heavy. I didn't have enough time for my bread to rise. These crackers are straight up terrible. Why aren't we talking about these walls of water? It should be on everybody's mind. Why are we doing this? I'm pretty sure those are the Egyptians. And I don't know this person, but I am not carrying their stuff, right? All they could think about was everything that was going wrong, and they walked in mud. And the only difference, of course, is just perspective. And there are so many times in our lives we are truly walking in mud. But it's important that when we see that we remind ourselves that we can help ourselves get back on dry land. And if we're on dry land, then we can help others get back on dry land too. Right? We're mountain climbers by nature. It's a beautiful, beautiful strength that we have. And when we learn to climb those mountains, and we learn to cross that sea, we can help other people do it too. And show them just by our actions that they're also strong enough. So we're going to do Walking in the Light of God. For our Michamocha. Cantor, would you join me for this? I don't know how we're going to do this. We got one mic. We can like Nashville style this thing. Can y'all hear me? Wow. The lapel mic works. Oh, perfect. We're good. We're so professional. I love it. All right, here we go. We are walking in the light of God. We are walking in the light of God. Just like that. We are walking in the light of God. We are walking in the light of God. Oh, a little call and repeat. We are walking, we are walking, we are walking, we are. Yeah, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking. Here we are walking, we are, yeah, we are walking in the light of God. Michamocha ba'elim Adonai, Michamocha nehedar b'kodesh, Michamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh nora tehilot tosefet nora tehilot tosefet. We are walking in the light of God. We are walking in the light of God. Here we are walking in the light of God. We are walking. Yeah, we are walking. We are walking in the light of God. We are walking. Yeah, we walking. We are walking. We are walking in the light of God. Yeah, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking in the light of God.
Mullen, the uncle, to lead us in responsive prayer on page 63. Page 63. Lovely jacket. Hi, Jeff.
Help us, O God, to lie down in peace, but teach us that peace means more than quiet.
Remind us that there should be a peace at night. We must heed how we live by day.
Grant us the peace that comes from honest dealing, so that no fear of discovery will haunt our sleep.
Rid us of resentments and hatreds which rob us of the peace we crave.
Liberate us from enslaving habits which disturb us and give us no rest.
May we inflict no pain, bring no shame, and seek no profit from another's loss.
May we so live that we can face the world with serenity and with grace. May we lie down in peace tonight and awaken tomorrow to a richer and fuller life.
Ushmar tzeitenu vo'inu l'chaim u'l'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim Yitgadol ve'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah ve'al Amad yivarach chirutei ve'amelich malachutei v'chayechon yom echon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael bagalau bizman kariv ve'imeru amen yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam u'la'om me'amaya yitbarach ve'yishtabach yitba'ar v'yitromam ve'yitnasei ve'yitarar ve'yitaleh ve'yitalal shemei kodesha berichu leila min kol birchata ve'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran ve'alma ve'imeru amen.
We rise together for the Shabbat Amidah. Joe will lead us in an intro, and then we'll pray personally, beginning on page 69.
All right. We'll do this a couple times through. Eternal God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Agi Tehilatecha. Eternal God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Agi Tehilatecha. God of creation, rock and salvation, I'm standing in my heart's direction. God of creation, rock and salvation, I'm standing here in reflection. Eternal God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Agi Tehilatecha. like my coffee sweet. I like a wave on the street. I like boots on my feet. And I like everything a little easy. A little easy. And if I haven't met you yet, I can't wait to shake your hand, 'cause we're all in the band, so rest easy. Yeah, a little easy. A little easy. So hold on to this life, 'cause we're only here for a little while, so stop and breathe. It's all right. Yeah, oh, say shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oh, say shalom bimromav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Vehi al kol Yisrael. Vehi al kol Yoshvei Tevel. Ve'imru, imru. Amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav. Yaseh shalom aleinu. Oh, say shalom bimromav. Yaseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel. Ve'imru, imru. Amen.
You may be seated. Page 82. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Konesh Shamayim Va'aretz Magen Avot Bidvaro Mechayei Meitim B'mamaro Ha'el HaKadosh She'ein Kamohu Hameniach Le'amo B'yom Shabbat Kodsho Kivam Ratza Le'aniach Lahem Kivam Ratza Le'aniach Lahem Lefanav Navor V'yiraf Ha'fachad V'nodeh Lishmo B'chol Yom Tamid Mein HaBerachot El HaHodaot Adon HaShalom alon mekadesh hashabbat umbarek shvi umeniach bikdusha le'amik dushne oneg zecher lemaaseh vereshit.
Page 86.
Yitkara v'yitkara shemei rabba. Ve'almad yivrach yirutei ve'amlich malchutei v'chayechonu v'mechonu v'chayruchu beit Yisrael. V'galav izman kari ve'imeru. Amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach. Le'alam u'lalmei avaya. Yitvarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei nekudesha b'richu. Leila min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran v'lama v'yimeru. Amen. Titkabal soroton baton echol Yisrael kodem avon v'yishmaya v'yimeru. Amen. Yehi shalom arava min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav uyaseh shalom aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen.
We now have the privilege. We now have the privilege of inviting our two B'nai Mitzvah or Benot Mitzvah for this Shabbat to come forward. Madison Beth Harris and Bailey Nava Myers. And we're going to ascend the bima for this big moment. So everybody can turn with us to see the Kiddush as the girls lead us. Please rise. You can turn to page 90.
Okay, so take this. We're going to sing in perfect unison.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'nartamanu v'shabbat kadsho v'ahava uratzon kinechalmanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra kodesh Zeher l'tziyat Mitzrayim
Kivanu v'chata v'otzanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha yahva uvratzon kinchatzanu.
Baruch atah Adonai Ekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
Go ahead, take a sip.
Don't worry, neither of them are driving home.
Everyone may be seated. Everyone may be seated. Joe, I'm coming down. Uh-oh. I'm coming back to you.
Did I do something wrong?
No. Joe went to lean the microphone as if it were my first rodeo. So as we're sitting here, I'm having all of these visions. First, Joe, your voice is beautiful, and thank you for being with us. And I envision maybe if you'll come back again, that we'll all dress up in our cowboy outfits, right? How fun. And we'll get big bales of hay and like create like a barbecue and like a night of sort of country Shabbat.
Let's do it.
I know. I'm already picking out my
I'm so
clothes.
excited. I can't
know.
wait.
It's going to be fun.
I can't wait.
So, Joe, this is typically our sermon slot.
Right.
But I wanted to instead use the time to really just get to know you. And first, thank you for coming to us.
Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
And Joe, there were so many people that were raving about you, both your voice and your davening, you're praying, as well as your character. So I want to sort of start there
Thanks.
and ask you to just tell us a little bit of your story. So you said earlier that you've been a Jew for 9 years.
Yeah, 9 years.
So it's so nice to have you as a part of the tribe.
Thanks. Thanks for having me. It's been great.
The 9 years, I hope. So tell us a little bit about your origin story. Where did you come from? What role did religion play in your life? And how'd you join us?
I appreciate that. I spent a lot, my grandfather, I'll tell you a kind of a deeper, expanded sort of version of this. Tomorrow I'll give you the Reader's Digest version now. People still read Reader's Digest? Oh, fantastic. Oh, good. So do I.
I still get it in the mail.
Do you?
Hold on, I'm going to, yeah. mhm.
I love it. So my grandfather gave me a really simple understanding of God. He said, look outside, you can see God in the world and the way people work. And if God wants anything from you, it's live a great life, take care of those around you, take care of yourself, and help take care of the world. It was so simple. And to me, I was like, oh, I totally can see a creator in all this. That makes sense. I'm in. And that was it until I moved in with my folks when I was older. I started going to a lot of different places to try to find answers from official sources. And I was finding a lot of things that just kept saying there was something wrong with me. And so I grew up doubting myself, my worth, value in the world, all of that. Met my wife. She loved me more than I ever thought I deserved. And I started to like myself again. And then 13 years into our marriage, outside the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C., she looks at me and she says, I want to get in touch with my people's faith. And I was like, what? Who are your people? No, by the way, no, if you ever hear somebody say that, you should run. No, that's not a great phrase, right? My people. And she goes, I'm Jewish. I'm supposed to know that. And I was like, how'd you get Jewish? And she's like, I was born Jewish. And I start mansplaining to my wife. I'm like, that's not a thing. You can't be born. She's like, you don't know how it works. And I said, I don't know if you know how it works. And she's like, I know how it works. I was like, okay. And then our son found out he was Jewish when he was 12. So I said, look, let's find a rabbi. All I know is there's something about pork. That's the only thing I know. And I grew up in Houston. We had one of the largest conservative synagogues in the country. I never met a Jewish person growing up. I never heard anything about the Jewish people. Nothing anti-Semitic, nothing.
So tell us about that journey.
Yeah, well, we went, you mean becoming, the last stage of it?
Well, no, from that moment in D.C. outside of the Holocaust Museum to the moment that you sort of said, yep, I'm in.
Yeah, well, it was a real 1 foot moment. Y'all know that story about standing on 1 foot, right? Well, I told April, we were trying to do research online and getting nowhere. These were in the early days of the internet, or as my son likes to call it, Jurassic Park. And so I was like, let's find a rabbi. That's got to be the authority. Because I grew up thinking there was some authority that knew everything, and they would tell you. That was always my experience.
Joe, when I'm joking with my kids, I say, please look on the World Wide Web and tell me where.
That's right. Well, and it's so different here because we all have that responsibility to learn as much as we can, right? As opposed to just one source that's supposed to do it all. It's on us. Well, I didn't know that. So we found a rabbi 20 minutes from our house because I like proximity. And April didn't care where we went. I said, I don't know what this means. It says they're a shul. Let's go there. So we walk in the door. This is what happened. Stuart Federow in Houston, Texas, Rabbi Stuart. He opens the door. This is what he sounds like. An approved impression, by the way. He goes, hi, Stuart the rabbi. And I fell immediately in love. And I said, let's go here. And he said, what can I do for you? And this is what he said. I said, my name's Joe. It's my wife, April's son, Nathan. They're Jewish. I'm not, but none of us know what it means. And he said, great. You want me to tell you everything? I said, please. He said, okay, here it is. He said, there's one God, and there's nothing wrong with you. He said, you do good because it puts more good in the world. Not for some reward or fear of punishment. The good in the world is the reward for doing it. And you're living the gift, and we've got to take such good care of it. And I had never heard that in my life, except from my grandfather. So I dove in feet first and started going to classes. And I started writing Jewish music to help me understand what I was going through and hopefully to do some healing for others like it did for me.
I love that. So, Joe, how long did it take you to dive into liturgy, to dive into prayer
Yeah.
and composing Jewish music?
Well, that was actually the first thing that I got super excited about because I loved being in services and I was like, I want to pray. And if I'm going to do that, I want to know what is it that I'm saying. These words sound great, but I have no clue what's coming out of my mouth, right? So I wanted to know what it meant. And the more I could study it, the more I was like, well, I feel like I have something to say about that or a way that I would approach it to make it personal. And that's when I started writing music to understand prayer better.
Wow. What's your favorite prayer, Joe?
Wow. My favorite prayer, my favorite really moment in the service to this day is still the Shema, because that was the first time I'd ever been in a room, and it was early in the conversion process. You know, you go to services a lot and things. And I heard the whole room suddenly stand up, and everybody, no matter how lost they may have been before in the book, all of a sudden everybody was in the same band. And they'd been in the band for generations, and it shook me to my core. And to this day, that's still my favorite moment.
Joe, I have a lot of questions.
Oh, let's do it. I'm into it.
I feel like there are going to be a lot of people.
I'll try to
that are
give
hoping
shorter
that I won't.
answers.
So, okay, as you bring your song and your country music to communities all over our country and our world, what has been like the most interesting thing that you've found wherever you go? What has been most fulfilling and what's been most challenging?
I think the thing that has been probably the most fulfilling is having the opportunity to spend really, really sacred time with people. It's something that I experienced going to services. I could feel it, and then leading services and then hearing from people and talking to people, you kind of have this awareness that we're all sharing time together and creating something kind of special in that space. And it became this kind of really, really, as it was already sacred, but it came so deeply sacred. And it's my favorite thing to do is just to pray with people and get to know people. And I think the thing that surprised me most was how even though our communities are so separate, and we have this, branch of Judaism and this branch does this, it's amazing also how thin those lines are. And I also love how thin those lines are.
Anything challenging as you travel?
I think I was so scared to be, yeah, absolutely, I'm glad you asked. That's a hard question to answer, but here's the truth, and it doesn't sound great. I like to use the word convert, and it's an uncomfortable word for people because they're told, like, don't say that, it sounds so shameful. And I'm like, to who? I love it. That's what I am. I'm proud of it. I don't remember being here. I don't remember, oh, you were always Jewish. No, I wasn't. I had a very different life. I feel it in my soul, but the truth is I don't remember that. I remember this. But I think the thing that's been hard is that as someone who joins the tribe, and I think a lot of people can probably say this if they've been through that experience, is that I appreciate that I've been welcomed into this house, and I'm doing everything I can to help out around the house and do as many chores as I can and support the house as much as I can. But I also have that awareness that I didn't grow up in it, and I don't want to bump anything off the table. And I feel like I'm trying to earn it, and I just don't want to. I don't want to represent wrong, but I also don't want to misrepresent myself, and that's hard. Sorry. Thanks. Sorry.
No, thank you. And I feel like it's an honor. Thank you. Joe, I can't leave you there, so I'm going to ask you.
Thank you.
And by the way, I'm really moved, and I imagine other people are too. I think it's the regard that you hold our shared tradition in, and the care that you have to not bump against anything, but also to contribute what you've got uniquely is particularly beautiful. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so your family's all Jewish now.
Yes.
Is that how it worked? That was the story?
Pretty much. My son found out he was Jewish, like I said, when he was 12, which is a big day coming up, right? By the time he was 13, he led Friday and Saturday services, chanted from the Torah, was trained as a gabbai by the time he was 14, and his last position with USY before he, aged out of it was he was the VP of Israeli Affairs for his original USY board. And now he feels like he's like the spokesperson for Judaism at his college, where there's only like 4 other Jews that we know of. So, but yeah, it's a very Jewish house now, and it's amazing. Judaism is so healing and so beautiful, and it brought our family closer, and it also brought the world a lot closer. I will say one thing that's interesting is that I, at least for me, and I've heard this from a lot of people, that I felt like I was a stranger in my own life before that happened, and all of a sudden I felt like I was back in my life, which is awesome. Thanks.
Welcome home.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, good, I get a hug. I'll help it.
So Joe's going to be here with us all, like for days he's going to be here. He's going to be here tomorrow night singing his songs and leading us after, sort of between 7:30, is that our time? 7:30 services, and then Joe during services and beyond, and then we're going to have Havdalah. And then he's going to be back with us again on Monday night for Lag BeOmer at 7:30, and there's going to be a bonfire, and it's going to be spectacular. And Jill tells me there are even s'mores and hot dogs. Parv
All right.
s'mores, of course. So we're going to turn to page 118. We are going to rise, and then we'll count the Omer, and then we'll conclude our service. Page 118, Aleinu. Oh, but first we're going to switch over to the Omer, Cantor King.
Joe, this is a little awkward because you got the guitar. But...
No, I'll take this off. Come here. Thank you so much.
Page 732 is the blessing for the counting of the Omer. You'll find the counting on page 733. Last night we counted 29. So tonight, put your thinking caps on and figure out what number it might be tonight. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al sefirat ha'omer. היום 30 יום שהם 4 שבועות ו2 ימים לעומר. This evening begins the 30th day of the Omer. We'll turn now to page 118. Remain standing for Aleinu. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כאויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגול עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו יבבהם אלוהים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת עינו. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Everyone may be seated. We pause at this time in our service to remember with reverence the yard sites of our beloved departed that are observed today and tomorrow, the 14th and 15th days of ER. Morton Jerome Ackman, Mindy Joy Amore, Morris Bass, Jody Alter Berger, Robin Deborah Cherry, Jack Dorman, Shelley Etzine, Leonard Friedman, Solomon Grossman, Marion Kaufman, Albert Emmanuel Kletz, Benjamin Kurlander, Gertrude Levy, Molly Rosen, Dora Seidman, Eugene Seculo, Paul Setrin, Alvin Paul Smelkinson. Beatrice Steelman, Sydney Steinberg, and Bessie Schloss Yankelo. Goldie Bardak, Jerome Jerry Baum, Melvin Berger, Ruth D. Beerer, Jack Birnbaum, Eugene V. Cherkis, Dr. Samuel Dresden, Jerome I. Feld, Doris B. Fold, Minnie Rose Goodman, Sylvia Gould, Marilyn Heyman, Moses Kleiner, Marvin Maines Levinson, Phoebe Lubman, Miriam Mann, Flora Saville, Mrs. Bella Savitt, Samuel Shapiro, Nathan Salo, Jill Oliver Tannenbaum, William Taub, Faye Wax, and Lillian Wolf. Well, all of those people are in a period of mourning or observing a yard site, please rise and join me in the recitation of the Mourner's Kaddish, which you can find on page 124. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah, Bi'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayei uvyomei uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uvizman kariv yimaru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevarach leolam ol maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemeda kudasha b'rechu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'yimaru Amen. Yehesh lama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mrumav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru Amen. May your loved ones' memories always be a blessing. A few announcements, and then we have a kid's song and then a special lullaby. So our announcements for today are that our service tomorrow morning will be at 10 o'clock here in the sanctuary. 10 o'clock here in the sanctuary. And then we have a second service at 12:30, also in the sanctuary. Good? Okay. Also, before services at 9 o'clock until 9:45, there will be 2 Torah study classes. One of them will be here in person, and that is focusing on the book of prophets and the book of Joshua. And then there will be one online, which is the Parsha study, which is our Torah study of the week, and that will be online. Tomorrow evening, we're going to gather together at 7:30. We're going to have mincha, we're going to have prayers, and we're going to have more of Joe Buchanan, and then we're going to conclude with a Havdalah service together. And we want to say a big mazel tov to both of the families with daughters becoming Benot Mitzvah this Shabbat. Also, again, Rabbi Zaslow is reminding us that Monday night is Lag BaOmer. Can't wait to see you all. Dress for the fire, for the s'mores, and for a more beautiful song. So I'm going to invite the Shir Chadash choir back up. Ooh. And in honor of the 75th anniversary, Cantor Blatt just shared with me that the Shir Chadash choir is sponsoring a special oneg afterwards for us tonight. So not only did they bring their song and their music, but they brought a gift for all of us, and we can't wait. Thank you to you and your families. All right, here we go.
So they're going to, the amazing Shir Chadash are going to join me for this, but I want them to join us for this. I'll tell you some of these words. By the way, I hope you get a chance to come to that concert tomorrow. We're going to have such a good time. I'm going to play you tunes inspired by stories in the Torah, play some Jewish drinking songs, and play you all kinds of country music inspired by us as a people, maybe a few covers as well. So come on back for that. But this song is called Small Town Tonight, and the words are, it's a big world, it's a big world, it's a big world outside of this light. That's you. But we're a small town, we're a small town, we're a small town in here. Do you all already know this song? So good. All right, here we go. Well, it's a big world, it's a big world, and it's a big world outside of this light. All right, we're a small town, and we're a small town here tonight. Yeah, now we've crossed the desert, we've been through the sea, we've drifted apart, we've been close as can be, and we made new friends and new family. We're gathered tonight in peace. Hey, it's a big world, it's a big world, and it's a big world outside of this light. Yeah, we're a small town, and we're a small town here tonight. If you're feeling alone, yeah, well, you're not on your own. We've all been there at times in our lives. Fill up your cup, yeah, come on, raise it up. We saved you a place at our side. Yeah, and it's a big world, it's a big world, and it's a big world outside of this light. Oh, and we're a small town, and we're a small town here tonight. Many road maps exist, there's a lot of exits. It's okay to get lost on the way. I'm a traveler too, and I'm glad I met you, 'cause it looks like we're headed the same way. And it's a big world, it's a big world, and it's a big world outside of this light. We're a small town, all right, so I want to show you this miracle that's happening. So I don't know what kind of singer you think you are, whether you're like a back of the shul cantor or a hallway singer, maybe a windows down singer in the car and like to let people know what you're listening to. That's me, by the way. Whatever kind of singer you happen to be, your voice is stunningly beautiful. It's the voice that God gave you. It's a voice that changes lives. I know how beautiful your voice is. Trust me. I will also say we also sound better when we sing together, if you have any doubts. So I want you to hear the voice that God gave you, but most importantly, listen to the sound of the person next to you and listen what you sound like together. Because here's a cool truth. That sound has existed since the universe was first formed on the vapor of God's breath, but it has never been heard until right now. So if you could join us for this chorus one time with these fantastic youngins. and we'll sing that together. It's a big world, it's a big world, and it's a big world outside of this light. All right, we're a small town, and we're a small town here tonight. Let them hear you outside. It's a big world, it's a big world, and it's a big world outside of this light. Oh, and we're a small town, and we're a small town here tonight. Yeah, we're a small town here tonight. Oh, and we're a small town in here tonight. Hey!
Shabbat Shalom, and thanks so much for being here with Joe Buchanan, with Cantor Blatt, with all of us. And thanks to the Shir Chadash singers, Oneg, in the Weil Mandel Pavilion. In the hallway, on the way out, in the lobby.
Amazing. They were like singing full voice. Shabbos! Thank you so much. And thank you for, you know, it's funny how many places, even a lot of conservative shows I go to, they don't do the issue. They don't go into it. So it was so great to hear that again. Thank you for that. Hey. Oh, thank you. Come here.
Okay, if you can stand hugs from
Yeah.
everybody.
Come on.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate that. Hey, nice to meet you. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks, I appreciate that. There's a lot of classes.
A lot of people